Hi beauty friends, today I will be trying and testing out the new NARS Light Reflecting Foundation on brown tan skin and let you know what I think of it, first impressions, and I pin a comment below to as update to see how it wears. Trying out the new Adept Cosmetics Amunet Nu palette and doing some comparisons, and then trying some other new makeup and shopping my stash. So if you're interested, then keep watching. So today, beauty fam, I'm going to do a little bit of a try-on and review of the new NARS Light Reflecting Foundation that I picked up, and then a little bit of a shop my stash. We've been getting a lot of foundations this month of January, and I ended up picking up medium 3.5 Vanuatu. I was trying NARS. I had I think their Glow foundation, not the one that's super matte and thick, but it was the one that had a dewy glow to it. And I stopped using it because there was something in it that was also breaking me out. So that's what I really mean when, if you're new to my channel, I have really sensitive skin, and I also have challenges in finding the right shade match. So right now it's in January, the end of January, and this is pretty much my winter shade. I'm barefaced today. All I have is some skincare on today. I ended up picking this up at Sephora. And so I'm curious to see how it matches up to the new foundation releases and then current ones I have. I just wanted to share what I have on my earrings today. These are from Cambio Co, a Filipino company which works with women artisans in the Philippines on creating these handmade earrings. So these are the sampaguita flowers, which is the national flower of the Philippines, and they grow there and they smell really beautiful. So just handmade, just wanted to, and I'll put the link below. And I ended up buying these because they were because Cambio, the company, dedicated 20% of their profits to donating money to a nonprofit that would be helping fund emergency relief due to the typhoon of the Philippines. So if you're interested in knowing more about the company, I'll link it below, or you can go to Instagram as well, and I'll put the Instagram handle. And then I'm also wearing my VeryAsian sweatshirt. So a colleague of mine, Michelle Lee, is who that incident happened to, where she's a reporter and she shared her heritage about being Korean heritage. For New Year's, she eats dumplings, and Asians eat dumplings. So she happened to kind of put that in the snippet when she was broadcasting. And then a viewer was very upset that she had said that she shared her Korean heritage and basically wanted her to not share her Korean heritage, and then called her offensive for saying that, and also called her that she was very Asian. So she turned that around, which was basically a racist incident, and turned it on its head and owned it, which I love. So she really took back this horrible, hateful comments from this viewer of calling her very Asian to be like, yeah, I'm very Asian. So her and her colleague have created a VeryAsian Foundation, and she's also partnered with these are going to be released again, but the first one of these sweatshirts, after cost, I think the majority of it will be donated to Asian American Journalists Association. And so I just really love what Michelle Lee is doing. If you want to check her out, at Michelle, MICHELLELI TV. She is a newscaster that she used to be based here in the Seattle area. And I just want to really also highlight, part of the channel here is not just beauty, but really highlighting companies that I like to support. So Cambio, again, I like to support small BIPOC owned businesses, women and queer owned businesses. If they have these for sale that you can also support, or you can donate directly to VeryAsian Foundation or to other great organizations. I want to really highlight that we are on the cusp. By the time I'll edit this, I'll probably hit right around Lunar New Year. They say lunar specifically to be inclusive, not Chinese, because in my family heritage and community, we're not just Chinese and diaspora. The Asian diaspora is much more diverse than East Asian and Chinese. So I purposely say Lunar New Year. And so Lunar New Year encompasses Chinese heritage, some Korean, some Vietnamese, but also there are different dates of the calendar depending on your Asian heritage when the New Year is celebrated. So this year is the Year of the Tiger, and it's February 1st. So I just wanted to celebrate by supporting some Asian businesses. And I think the next video I might do might actually be highlighting some Asian heritage owned makeup company. Do this. I'll read a little bit about this. Improved skin, radiance by 61%, more even skin tone, 93%, and it's 24 months. So let me take it out. It's a standard 1 ml or 30 milliliters of 1 fluid ounce. But since I'm not leaving the house the rest of the day, I'm just going to use the milk. And you might see me fussing with my hair, whether it goes up and down. And what I'm thinking actually is I'm going to take these earrings off because they're white. I don't want them to get dirty. What I like to do when I try new foundations, I'm going to try one brush on this side and the other on this. So on this side, I'll try it with the Jumbo Base by Soniji, and the other with this, it's purely synthetic. All of this is the BK Beauty 101. Okay, that is one full pump, I think. And actually, it's looking to my naked eye, it actually doesn't look too yellow. I think it might be the lighting. So I'm just gonna go ahead and dab that on. And what I remember from the Vanuatu, yes, NARS runs a little bit more yellow, but this is the one color, at least in my medium tan, that runs a little bit more olive. But it's still pretty warm. And that works for me because I kind of fluctuate between being warm and olive. Energy. Okay, first impressions is that it's pretty light. I like it. It doesn't feel like a heavy foundation. So maybe I'll look at it later. I think this could be more of a light medium light, but that color is pretty spot on. So I'm just taking what remains of that one full pump. There's not really much left because it's starting to dry down. And just putting on the areas where there might be some redness still. Okay, so I'm switching up. I'm not going to use a BK Beauty on this side. I think it'll be fine with that is what I'm going to guess. I just have this feeling that I just want to try it with a sponge. The one pump is not a lot. So I'm going to guess that you might, well, one might need 2 pumps for the entire face because it doesn't seem very full coverage. And you can see I have some redness peeking through. I would say it's pretty light medium coverage. And I'm just using this beauty blender to just pat in the rest on the other side. I would say for this side, it was definitely fuller coverage with this method. This is a little bit lighter with the sponge. And it's coming off a little light. I don't see any oxidation. Just gonna get in close so you can see how that's looking. I do like it so far. It doesn't seem to be sitting on top of my skin. It almost feels like skincare almost. This is a nice foundation so far. I can see it feels like really like a light skin-like feeling. Concealer 6.2N is in Nancy. Sonia G soft concealer. Lighter side. Adept Cosmetics under eye powder. And then going into just my T-zone, the Terry by Terry Hyaluronic powder. This is a sample I had like almost a year ago, and it's just, I only use it for the T-zone and it's lasting forever. So I don't know what I'm gonna do when this runs out because I don't wanna buy a full powder because it just, I'm never gonna be able to finish it. What the foundation's looking like so far. And what I'm gonna do is just leave it as it is and then continue on with my eyes. So we're gonna try this new Adept Cosmetics Amunet Nu palette. And this is really beautiful. So, and it has a mirror back here. Just going in with a crease 2 brush with the Toth color. Okay. And this is, Toth is more just like it looks just like the color powder I use, but it's a little bit darker. So I'm just using that to kind of just in a way still prime and prep the lid. Amon, I'm going into this orangey shade here. Not any product is taking my Wayne Goss 03 brush. Squirrel hair, just I'm taking this to diffuse. Worker Pro Sonia G. I'm going into the Amon color again, and then just really concentrating it in the crease. Wayne Goss 18 brush into Horace down here. Sonia G, just to move around whatever brush I have left here, what colors. That color RE Ray, it's like a purple shift. It's very creamy, so. It's nice. It's like, I think it's like a duochrome, maybe a multi-chrome. So parts of it, when I'm looking up, look green, but then when I'm looking at it ahead, it looks like a purple grungy gray with some blue shifts. Company, at least the shadows where it doesn't look as pretty on camera, but in person it looks so much prettier. Take the Nepsis and kind of lay that over, which is this one. I laid this down. I'm gonna lay that one on top. Okay, that's pretty. Wow. Do you see that shift? It's almost like a gray. Fun. Going back into Amon, that orange one, and just kind of putting it at the top is a nice contrast because there's blues, and then I want the green is the one that, on the shift right there, and there's some blues in there too. Try Anubis, God of the Dead. I want to grab some of this Pitah, P-T-A-H. I'm just kind of running that underneath too, because if this is already a grungy look, you might as well just go all out. Yeah, that was nice. I should have laid that down first, and then Anubis just to amp up everything. For 03 in that crumbly shade, it reminded me of the Danessa Lightworks, the highlight shade, but creamier, because it has a green shift, Equinox, if anyone has that palette from last year. But this is creamier, so I'm going to put it on the inner corner here. It reminds me of Pat McGrath's Astral Special shades, so I'm just being very careful not to put it in my eye because I don't want any sort of particles in my eye. Ooh, that's really intense. Okay, that was kind of not what I wanted, but that's okay. It feels weird between here and here. Some, and then commit. Oh boy. Okay, so it's super crumbly, as you can see. I hope this is a Bob Ross moment, like a happy accident. So I'm just using a little bit of my fingers to spread it because it's very creamy and crumbly. You can see very green. I'll take that Nepsis again because I feel like it got eaten up by this Hathor. So taking that original one and just putting it in the middle. it again. These glitters and duochromes, I would say either use a flat brush that's synthetic, that's something that can lay down something flat, or don't be afraid to use your fingers. So I'm gonna finish the other eye and then come back. Okay, so I'm back with the finished look. I finished up with Chanel brown purple chocolate from Chanel. It's one of my favorite liners just because it's a pretty unexpected color, I feel, from Chanel, where sometimes they tend to be a little bit more basic and boring. Lower lids, MAC Giga Black, Dark Star Mascara, Pat McGrath. And I'm finding this is my favorite combo, these two. I want to just show a trick of sometimes if it's messy under here. So there isn't too bad a fallout. I would have to say there is a little bit, but if we're talking about comparing a fallout to like Pat McGrath is like way worse in the fallout. So what I'm doing is just taking that concealer brush I used and just kind of working that in with any remaining product I have in there and just cleaning up the lines, right? There we go. And so far, I have to say that I'm really enjoying this foundation. So I put two, layers on the cheeks, and I haven't powdered it down. You can see some of the blemishes, but I'm okay with it. I think it's really pretty so far. What I did end up putting on is VeryAsian lip oil in Beignet, just because I just want to moisturize my lips. Because I'm just taking my Sisley powder and just using my rougher brush here just to gently pat down the loose powder. Usually use my airbrush from Wayne Goss, but I'm also trying to use up other products that I have in my collection. Going into Nude Venus from Divine Rose, just swishing it there so it takes an even amount of color. I love this blush brush so much. This is from the Sky series, and I'm thinking about picking up another one. There's something about it that you can do this and it doesn't lift any product. And I have really sensitive cheeks, as you can see, because this is where my rosacea is. And sometimes brushes can sometimes really irritate my face. And this is really the only one that not only does not irritate my face, it doesn't lift the makeup when I'm layering it. So seriously considering getting another one of this since there was a Sonia G restock. What I'm gonna do is actually take a color I didn't pick yet, is that blue one, Pata. Oh, and I apologize, I have to check. So these actually fell between filming, and luckily they're magnetic, so half of the eyeshadow pans fell out, but they didn't break, thankfully. But I put them back by memory, so I'm hoping that's actually the name of the color, but whatever color blue that is, that's the one I'm reaching for. And what I'm gonna do is just place it just in the outer V, and it's just like the perfect size and bounce and give. There's like a bounce to it that just leaves the color just beautifully. And then what I can do is like kind of twirl the color and just lightly diffuse, and it just, do you see that? I just love this brush. Okay, going again to that navy blue color, just building out the corner. Makes it a little bit more dramatic, which I'm here for. I am not going out the rest of the day. It's really gross out here in the Northwest. I know I have nothing to complain about for those folks on the East Coast because you had a snowstorm, but it's wet and rainy and overcast today, so I'm not leaving the house the rest of the day. So I just added blue there. Look at that, that's so pretty. Fun palette. Okay, so yeah, I'm thinking about getting a backup of these two. I'm actually grabbing the Danessa Myricks Cream Bronzer. Smashbox Cream Cheek for this contour. This is Danessa Myricks medium 2, and I just dab it in there and then do this. There's my contour. And I'm not going to, I've got to remember to say this, I'm not buffing it, I'm just dabbing it. Do you see that? I do enjoy this cream contour. What I would say about the Danessa Myricks contour is that it runs a little bit warm. I just wish it was a little bit more gray. A little bit, see what happens. Okay, it didn't lift the foundation. Let me do this. I'm not over the moon with this balm contour. I just think it's too warm, like not enough gray for what it's supposed to do. So I'm not a fan of Westman Atelier, but I might try that contour stick just to see, because a lot of people like it. I'm gonna grab Serena bronzer, this one from Chantecaille. It's a big gelée formula. Unfortunately, I didn't get to order that new Niji brush on time. Kind of did it on purpose. I just, again, I'm on a low buy, so I'm trying to like not spend too much money on things makeup related. I mean, I definitely want it. I don't need it, if that makes sense. So this is what I mean when I think it's the Danessa Myricks. It's supposed to be contour, not bronzer. It's a little bit too warm. So we'll see. I took, this is the Chantecaille Serena. And it almost makes it like orange. See, this is not what I wanted to happen. So it takes away the pink. Okay, I'm gonna grab my Kevyn Aucoin. This is the one I've been loving for contour. The Lotus brush, it's supposed to be a base, it's supposed to be a foundation, but what I like about it is that it's got this like really carved edge, so then I could lay it down. Do you see that? That's a nice contour color. And then using whatever I have just to push down on it to carve out the contour. I'm doing the same over here. Okay, nice. Chanel or Ivoire liquid highlighter. It's a very subtle highlighter. Squirt some of that there. Some of it does build up. I'm just taking my fingers and then putting it there. I would say this is a very, very natural highlight. I'm just spreading it around on my hand. This is what it looks like. I'm just using one finger even, because I feel like I have more control than two. I don't have huge chiseled cheekbones, so I don't need two fingers really. And do you see that? It just melts in. It really does. For my skin, it does, because most highlighters, I'm not a fan of highlighters because it does not melt in my skin. It just emphasizes the texture. Whereas that's why I really like Baked Gelée. This is the one that just has the gold bronze in it. 712. My lips are pulling very orange today. I want it to be cool. So no on that, let's try this one. This is 722. Oh, I have to say, I think I like this one because it definitely looks cooler. Okay, I'm gonna finish with that one. I think it is the Rouge Coco Gloss 722, and I got that in the Lip Trio in that special bag. So far, I'm liking it, so I just want to show you, this is what it's looking like. I did put loose powder, but I have oily skin, so what I end up doing is, some of you know my channel, I just go into my BK 105 brush and then my Chantecaille blurring powder, and I just use this as the final tamp down, just to really bring the look together. And it just, I try not to get so much of the up here because it's just buffing out a little bit of the front here, but keeping the color here, just tapping that down a little bit. Okay, so I would say this is the final look. Let's start with the foundation because it's really what is anchoring this entire review. First impressions, I really love it. It is a really beautiful foundation. This is how the Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate foundation would look on camera, because it looks beautiful in real life, but on the camera, it's reflecting light to make my face look illuminated. So that's what the Shade and Illuminate in Tom Ford I found to be what we were trying to get to with Shade and Illuminate for that foundation. But for $125, I think it's a $125 or $150. I'll put the price below. That foundation did not work for me. It's a fussy foundation. I found that some days it would be great, and then maybe 2 days after it would look terrible, that it would start to get patchy here and would start to raise here. And wherever I had patchy parts of the dry parts, it would just lift. And although it looked pretty on camera, just like this, light illuminating with lights or flash, it in real life, it did not look pretty, and it would start to really like wear down. And so I feel like this is maybe a contender for those who were interested in the Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate, but that didn't work for you, or you didn't want to pay the $125, $150 luxury beauty price. It reminds me a lot of that. So I'm really excited because that did not work for me. And also the price tag was stupid high expensive. We're gonna ask people to pay that much money for a foundation. It better work. It better be amazing. And it wasn't amazing. So that went back. I think this is under $60. I want to say this is maybe $50. It's like the standard mid high-end beauty brands. But I love the way it's looking. It looks really beautiful in real life. On the camera with the lights, it looks even more beautiful. Even before I put the highlighter on, I felt like there was like an illumination of my face. Just really impressed with this. So what I'll do is keep wearing this throughout the day and then pin a comment below. And again, usually I wear test it for a week if I can, and then I even might do another update. So check out below depending when you watch this video. Always look for a pinned comment below and I'll do updates. So that is my thoughts on the NARS Light Reflecting Foundation. If you are interested, I would say check it out. I've been trying at least, how many foundations came out? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 new foundations came out, including the Chanel #1 came out this month, and out of 4 of the 5 I've tried, and this is my favorite so far. Onto the palette, I think this is beautiful. It reminds me a lot of the Huda Beauty Jaguar palette. If you're interested in trying Adept, I would say I got this in the color Deeper Dark, and she's a beautiful color story. It reminds me a little bit more glam ABH Jackie Aina palette. It's an independent company. There's something about the ABH palettes that I don't like. I think there might be just straight pigments versus eyeshadows, and there is a difference. I found that these mattes went on pretty nicely. It reminds me of like almost to the quality of Viseart mattes, but not quite, because Viseart mattes, in my opinion, are the best in the business. But they went on really nicely. What's exciting are the shimmer and duochrome shades. So those are really, really fun. I definitely want to play again with this if I can this week and not use I went too ham on these colors, the green, which I just wanted to show you what that was. So I used 2 of those today. this on the inner lid, which is this color here, and then this on the all over lid here. I'm just putting some here. And then outer corner V. But this is a fun palette. So I think the closest it reminds me of is the Jaguar Huda Beauty palette, the 9-pan Jaguar. But this is more understated. I don't think the quality in here is as good as the Amunet Nu Adept Cosmetics palette. This is a little fussy. This is the thing about Huda that people either like or don't like. There's inconsistencies on the quality within her palettes and even her product line. Like, I find that her color stories are great, but the consistency of quality of all of the shadows here are not on par with each other. So the fun one, which everyone is excited about, which had the Jaguar print, this one, although it's pretty, the quality of it going on was just subpar. Like, it's okay. And the mattes in here are okay too. So it's nothing to write home about. I ended up getting that on sale. I think this would make a great complementary palette with this Amunet Nu. So if I were to pick one over this, I would definitely pick Amunet Nu. I think the quality in here is much better than this Jaguar palette. This also reminds me of the Danessa Myricks Lightworks palette, which is sold out. And she is not coming back with this. So a lot of the colors are very similar. There's the purples and the greens, and then there's that shimmer shade, which is the Equinox. What I have in my inner corner highlight. These are meant to be highlights, but you could, if you want, try them on your eyelids. I'm not going to, but they definitely have the greens here. They have the purple, and there's a little bit of the orange and reds in here. So if you have this palette, I would say you don't necessarily need this one. However, there are mattes in here, and this doesn't have mattes. This is to me is not a complete palette. This is the fun palette I actually keep on my top shelf to pull from to add more editorial looks or kick up a notch on highlight or just a duochrome or multi-chrome. So this is a fun complementary palette, not a standalone, if that helps. So if you have this, I don't think you need the Amunet Nu, but if you're aching to have this with some mattes, I would say then this is a good one to get. Or if you didn't get if you weren't able to get the Danessa Myricks palette because it's sold out, then this would be a great alternative to that Lightworks palette. The quality is better in the Danessa Myricks palette. It's just glorious. This is in my beauty faves of 2021 that made the cut because the quality on here is just it's amazing. I just love it. And it's not the same quality, but if you want like the similar vibe and experience, well, this is going to be the better experience. But I think this is a nice option for you to get if you didn't get that, or you're like, I like the Huda, but I don't like her quality. I would say this one, get it in dark or light depending on your skin tone. So that's it for my review, friends. And if you are interested, I would love for you to subscribe and comment and like below and ring the notification bell because it helps out my channel. And as always, be very kind to yourself and others and just be you. Take good care. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.